Hi, Giant Slayers. I know emotions are running so high right now with everything that's going on. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of encouragement. There is always hope. There is always something that you can do to contribute to positive change wherever you are, in your city, in your state, in your local community, in your church, in your civic groups. There is a platform for you. And it might not look like mine might not look like yours, but let's not think that we don't have an ability to bring positive change in the midst of chaos. And I think the first step is being open to having honest dialogue and conversation about the things that are going on, and listening, being open to actively listening to understand, not listening to see what counterpoints we can come up with about what we can disagree with, but really trying to understand different perspectives, seeing how we can come together during a time like this. But most importantly, understanding the hurt and the pain that people feel, and being not only empathetic to that, but caring enough about it to do something about it. We have a responsibility not only to vote, not only to get out and make sure that we have people in our local, state, and national government that represents our needs, our communities, but to be qualified to run for these elected offices. Until we are at the table, until we are part of the crowd that is making the decisions that impact our community, we will always be subject to those who are making decisions for us, who may not know anything about us, about how we feel, about how we think, about our culture, about what matters most to us, about what's important to us. And so we've got to rise to positions of power, and that means we've got to be qualified. And once we get there, then we can drive effective change to make sure that those systems, those standards are fair and that they are inclusive of all of us. But most importantly, we've got to keep our hearts open, and we've got to keep our minds open, and we've got to be willing to have honest conversations. No good comes from sweeping things under the rug or trying to heal a bullet wound with a band-aid. We've got to be open, we've got to be honest, and we've got to be vulnerable. And I know that's not a place that we as America is comfortable being, but it is absolutely necessary to drive meaningful change in this country. What I do know is that we absolutely cannot continue to do what we've been doing and expect different results. So I'm committed, my family is committed to starting with our household. We're going to get on a Zoom call with our children, and we're going to just listen to them. We're going to listen to the next generation talk about how they think, what they feel about what's going on, and see what we can learn from them. See what ideas and solutions they might have that we haven't thought of. But the most important thing is to listen, to understand, to have dialogue, to have conversation, to call out injustice, to call out inequality, to not be comfortable with the status quo, with continuing to move on as if these things that have divided us for far too long do not exist. What we are dealing with the deaths of unarmed black men and women in this country is a symptom of a much larger problem of an undercurrent and the underbelly of systemic institutional racism. That is it. We cannot ignore it. We cannot dress it up. We cannot put a bow on it. We can't make it feel good to our flesh. We've just got to deal with it. Racism is hatred. It is born out of a place of hatred, inequality, and injustice that is counter to everything that most of us believe in. But yet we have accepted it as this is just what it is, and how it's going to be, and we don't have to live that way. There is a hope. There is something that you can do. So I hope this encourages you to do nothing else but to have an open, honest conversation with the people in your household about how they think, about how they feel, about what solutions we can drive with the platforms that we have. And most importantly, we've got to get out to vote, and we've got to be running for elected offices so that we can be in positions of power to drive meaningful change.
Just because it's been going on for this amount of time and it's still going on. And like people, there's still a lot of people that's only believing because they can see it because of the video, but there's still a lot of people that don't want to believe it even when they see it. So it's frustrating and it's hurtful. Like even like they make movies and TV shows about this stuff going on, and it's hard for me to watch those because it's more than a movie, it's more than a TV show. That's real life for all of us. So it's crazy that's going on, but it's good to see that people are finally coming together and protesting because it's not right. And I feel like this is the only way our actions is going to fix things. Everything we do from this point on is going to set the tone for our future. That's how I've been feeling.
We just need to have our own stuff. We need our own schools, our own systems, period. I see I worked at the YMCA a couple years ago before Lennox was born, and they ignored all the black kids, and they had something to say about all the black kids like that were next. And it's real where I live at, and it starts young, and I fear for Lennox going to school. I'm thankful that he has the daycare that he has now, but I fear for when he has to start school, and I'm really conflicted between, do I homeschool or do I send him to where I'm not comfortable and then try to make a career? So that's
like
where
I said, what I think all of the parents on the call wanted to know is one, really how y'all were feeling. Because if you're angry, it's appropriate. If you're scared, it's appropriate. If you're terrified, it's appropriate. But what we can't do is stay in the feeling of emotion. If you want to go and protest, go protest. If you feel like throwing a brick through a window, don't do that. But we understand how you feel. But the point is, we got to move past our feelings into action. And the first thing is, if you are voting age, you absolutely got to vote. You got to vote. If you do not vote, you do not get to complain.